see it, say it, sort it. So, see the difference, say it, verbalize it, externalize it, and then sort it. So incorporate it into your existing system of words in the Mental Lexicon, right? And use it actively. Всем привет! Hallo zusammen! Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Anastasia and I make videos to share my language learning journey with you guys along with my integration, migration experiences. So if you're interested, definitely go on and check my video on how I've learned German from scratch to C2. I happen to be reading this book at the moment, The Black Album by Hanif Kureishi, and also the picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Yes, at the same time, yes, being a busy mom, and if I don't schedule time to read the books on my to-read list, I never get around to reading, and I am really into reading, so don't judge me. Anyway, I digress. Whilst reading this book, I came across this word. I don't even know how to pronounce it. And then whilst reading this one, I came across this word. And I was like, my instant thought was, do these two words have anything in common? Like any structural differences, any structural similarities? And then of course, the first thing I do when I do not know a word, like it is not deeply ingrained in my long-term memory, I consult my best friend, whose name is Pronunciation Dictionary. Let's do it. I've asked my friend what the transcription is, and it says it's a wrath as opposed to a wreath. Having dealt with phonetics and phonology, my second thought is, could this pair be a minimal pair? Do we remember the minimal pairs? They differ only in one sound, and apart from that, they have an identical sequence of sounds. Turns out, yep, because this one, the O, so the pot sound, is opposed to the E sound. Other than that, R and Th, yeah, so the post-alveolar approximant and the dental fricative, it's identical. Alright, what does it mean in consequence that my list of minimal pairs is growing? I have just added this pair to my minimal pairs list, and I will show you. They do not seem similar, because I mean you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters here and 5 letters here. But remember, pronunciation is not the same as orthography, so the spelling. And when we break it down into the distinctive features, turns out it is a minimal pair. Today's episode is going to be devoted to the Russian linguist Roman Jakobson, who is considered the founder of the discipline phonology, and whom I'm so grateful for his invention of these bundles of distinctive features, because it has enabled me to learn the 2 foreign languages that I have learned so far, so German and English, and I feel quite confident in those. Whenever I'm listening to a German native speaker or an English native speaker, I can split up the stream of speech into the segments, okay? And this is also the job of phonology, because phonology is not only about the sound properties of a language, so the sound system and the distinctive features. It is also about prosody, and this is exactly what we are going to talk about in today's episode. Let's get started. Whenever we encounter a new word and it seems important to us, we have to make sure that we do something with that word, okay? And I don't know what your lexical entry looks like in the Mental Lexicon, and this is based on this book. So, Words in the Mind. Words in the Mind. An Introduction to the Mental Lexicon by Jakobson. I think she was like a pioneer in this field. So, psycholinguistics. How do we store words? How do we also retrieve words? So, in collaboration with psychologists, of course, who then, carry out experiments and examine numerous phenomena. For example, a phenomenon called the tip of the tongue, or also the bathtub phenomenon, and so on and so forth. Every entry we make in our mental lexicon, what it looks like. One notion is based on Ferdinand de Saussure's sign. The notion of sign. Yeah? So, let's imagine, or I think in the introductory books, the example of a tree is used quite frequently. So we have here tree would be the transcription tree, and here would be like a picture. Okay. This is called, the upper bit is called signifier. And this is called signified, so form and meaning. Form and meaning. Norman Jakobson, he's contrasting phonemes to morphemes, and we know that morphemes are the smallest, meaning carrying units, as opposed to phonemes, the smallest meaning distinguishing units, right? For example, the morpheme ut in Russian, as in идут. This is the form, the signifier, and the meaning is третье лицо, множественное число, настоящее время. So, third person, plural, present tense. Or also one example is и, so the morpheme и, as in ученики. Okay? So this is the form, and the meaning is третье лицо, множественное число, именительный падеж. So, third person, plural, nominative case, right? What he is trying to show is that these two, they do have a form and a meaning. And then he's contrasting those to phonemes. L, Russian L, as opposed to Russian M. Okay? L and M. Let's write it up on the board. So phoneme L as opposed to phoneme M. And then he would actually come to the conclusion that these two do not possess a meaning. Okay? So, they only possess a form. Okay? No meaning. Only a form. Right? And then, of course, he came up with those distinctive features. These phonemes, these consonants. So this word, laika, a husky. When we substitute la with ma, we've got maika, a tank top or an undershirt, okay? Meaning that we do have phonemes here. Jakobson uses an example in Russian, pылил, пылить, which is spread dust, versus пилил. So, to show you, the first two phonemes, so poo, this velar sound, right? Poo, really back one, as opposed to pilil, p, the front vowel, right? Pilil versus pilil, okay? Pilil versus pilil. These two differ in one sound, u as opposed to e. When I encounter a minimal pair in English, as in short with this phoneme, as opposed to shirt with this one, which is a minimal pair, I have to make sure that when I'm talking about somebody being short, or a short introduction, as opposed to a shirt, I've got a shirt on today, right? That I pay attention to those two phonemes, as opposed to o, because I aim for mastery. Thanks to Jakobson, I know, because I've been acquiring this phonological knowledge, that these two are articulated differently, right? Phonology is really important when it comes to learning a foreign language, because it is not only about pronunciation, guys, it is also about prosody. What is prosody? Prosody encompasses such things as rhythm, stress, and intonation. Do you remember me talking about intonation, and when intonation is completely wrong? When talking about prosody, we've got these prosodic features, which Roman Jakobson was examining. Every time we are dealing with more than one phoneme, phoneme being one segment, we are dealing with a suprasegmental phonology. Stress is quite important in English, and it's also quite important in Russian, because it can be distinctive. Just stress can be distinctive. Yes, you've heard it right. For example, you've got such minimal pairs as record and record, object and object, conduct and conduct, content and content, blackbird and blackbird, okay? We also have minimal pairs in Russian. Examples of stress as a distinctive feature in Russian could be muka as opposed to muka, or большая as opposed to большая, замок as opposed to zamok. But as we know, sentence stress is really important when it comes to analyzing a sentence and produce a phonemic or broad transcription, okay? Because this is exactly where weak and strong forms have to be differentiated. But of course, guys, just knowing that there is a difference between wrath and wreath does not get us any further, right? So it does not suffice to just know it, this declarative knowledge. We also have to elaborate a little bit on this notion in our mental lexicon. And how do we do this? I really like the system proposed by Ferdinand de Saussure, where we've got two axes, the paradigmatic one and the syntagmatic one. So the paradigmatic one stands for choice, and the syntagmatic one stands for combination. So what I would do, I would seek for synonyms. For example, wrath, anger, indignation, infuriating, okay? And also, of course, the translation, which is Ärger in German or Gniew, Ярость in Russian. Talking about wrath, moving on to wreath, I would, for example, try to remember that there is a sort of collocation, Christmas wreath, and also funeral wreaths, okay? Then, of course, we need the equivalent in German, which is Kranz, Weihnachtskranz or Adventskranz, and also in Russian, which is Венок, for example, Рождественский венок, right? You know what I can't get my head around is that this wonderful book by Bernd Kottmann, which I've been using fairly often, it's falling apart. That's the bibliography Okay, so in the reference list, the name of Roman Jakobson does not pop up when he's talking about distinctive features and phonology. And this is something I really cannot understand. If you have an idea, definitely drop it in the comments section down below, because I would love to know, and I would definitely love to hear back from you. So definitely get in touch and leave me a comment what you think about Jakobson, and whether or not phonology has helped you to learn a foreign language. Alright guys, I hope it's been helpful, potentially inspiring. I really hope that you've learned something from it. For example, the immense contribution Roman Jakobson made to the field of linguistics, and also the foundation of the discipline phonology. And I really hope that you can put this knowledge into practice. Definitely let me know in the comments section down below if you have been using a similar method. Anyway, I wish you all well. Stay safe, stay healthy. Всем пока! Tschüss zusammen! Bye guys! I see you all next week.